Wake up, really gon' rise some sun. Step 2, do some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4.
Welcome, Taekook Purple Heart. Today we are back to discussing the sweet moments of Jungkook and Taehyung. Have you ever felt that behind the hustle and bustle of the fast-paced world, there are actually simple moments at the second day of the Tampa concert that quietly touch your heart? It's not about camera highlights or intentional scenes, but brief moments that are almost missed, a small smile, a warm gaze, or a spontaneous gesture that feels so sincere. That night felt different. It wasn't because of the brighter stage lights, nor because of the fans' cheers that were louder than usual. There was something invisible, yet so strongly felt, a subtle vibration that could only be understood by those who were truly paying attention. Jungkook stood there, as usual, full of charm and confidence. But behind his calm smile, there was a gaze that kept coming back to one person, Taehyung. It was as if the world around him was fading, and only that figure remained clear in his eyes. Taehyung, in his own way, seemed relaxed. But every small gesture, every brief glance he gives, seems to contain a deeper meaning. And when their eyes finally meet, time seems to stop. There were no words spoken, but everything felt so real. That moment came without a hint. Jungkook stepped closer, the distance that was usually maintained was now slowly disappearing. Without hesitation, without fear, he showed something that only fans could have guessed: genuine attention, meaningful touch, and the courage to no longer hide his feelings. Taehyung didn't back down. On the contrary, he received the closeness warmly. His smile widened, his eyes sparkled, as if all the doubts that had once existed were now gone. In silence, they understood each other, that what they had was not just ordinary togetherness. And that's where it all feels so obvious. It is no longer just a moment of chance, no longer just an interaction that can be considered ordinary. There is an honesty that radiates, there is a sense that can no longer be denied. Jungkook, in his own way, has proven that what he feels for Taehyung is not something superficial. Of course, not everyone can accept that. Behind the happiness of the fans, there are also voices that try to deny, doubt, and even attack. But that's exactly where their strength is seen. Because the more people try to separate the narrative, the stronger the bond seems between them. Love doesn't always have to be announced with big words. Sometimes, he is present in small gestures, in brief glances, in the courage to stay close even when the world is watching. And that night, Jungkook chose to no longer hide everything. Taehyung saw it. And in silence, he answered. A story they may never tell in person, but it was enough to make anyone who saw it believe that what they had was much deeper than mere coincidence. From that night, things felt changing, or perhaps, it finally looked as it was. There was no longer a real distance between Jeon Jungkook and Kim Taehyung. Even in the crowd, even in the midst of the camera spotlight, there was a small world that only the two of them had. Every step they take now seems to be in harmony without the need to plan. When Jungkook laughed, Taehyung had already looked at him with a soft expression that was hard to explain. And when Taehyung speaks, Jungkook listens in a different way, deeper, more attentive, as if every word has a special meaning. There are simple moments that actually feel the most real. A brief touch on the shoulder, a small smile that only appears when they face each other, to the way Jungkook unconsciously always searches for Taehyung's whereabouts around him. Those little things, which many may have missed, are actually the most powerful evidence for those who actually see. And behind all that, there was a courage that was slowly growing. Jungkook no longer hesitated. He no longer held back as before. What he is showing now is not just habit or convenience, it is a choice. Option to stay close. A choice to stay caring. A choice to show that Taehyung is not just a colleague, but someone who has a special place in his heart. Taehyung is the same. He didn't hide his smile anymore. Didn't take his eyes off when their eyes met. On the contrary, he seemed to enjoy every second of it, letting the world see what had been only a small secret between them. And that's where it all becomes more and more real. Not because they say anything directly, but because they no longer try to hide it. That feeling grew, slowly but surely, filling every gap that was once full of doubt. Loyal fans can feel it. There is something different, something deeper, warmer, and more honest. It's not just a made-up story, but a series of moments that are constantly connected, forming a picture that's hard to ignore. Meanwhile, those who tried to deny could only see from a distance, without really understanding what was going on behind the gaze and silence. Because at the end of the day, this kind of love doesn't need validation from anyone. He doesn't need big recognition, he doesn't need dramatic words. He was quite present, quite felt, quite alive in every little moment they shared together. And Jungkook knows that. So did Taehyung. Among the thousands of eyes watching, in the midst of a world full of speculation, they remained there, side by side, without the need to explain anything. The days after that felt like a new chapter opening slowly, without the need to announce it. Everything was going as usual on the surface, the rehearsals, the schedule, the laughter with the other members. But behind it all, there is a warmth that can no longer be completely hidden. Jeon Jungkook now looks calmer when he is near Kim Taehyung. It was as if he had found a place to go home, even in the midst of the hustle and bustle of a world that never stopped moving. And Taehyung. The way he looked at Jungkook changed to be deeper, softer, as if he held thousands of words that didn't need to be spoken. There was one moment that made everything feel even more real. In the midst of the busyness, when everyone was busy with their own affairs, Jungkook subconsciously approached. Not something big, not something dramatic, just a cropped distance, just a chosen presence. But for Taehyung, it was more than enough. Without saying much, Taehyung replied in the same simple way, "Stay there, not move away." And in that silence, there is a sense of mutual reinforcement. A belief that no matter what happens out there, they still have each other. Time goes on, but the feeling doesn't fade. Instead, it became clearer, the stronger, like a small fire that slowly grew without ever being extinguished. Maybe they will never stand in front of the world and say everything openly. Perhaps this story will always live between unspoken lines, between moments that can only be felt, not explained. And on a quiet night, away from the camera spotlight, Jungkook looks at Taehyung in the same way as before, meaningful, full of flavor. There is no word. There are no big promises. Only warm silence, and two hearts that seem to have found each other. Taehyung smiled smallly, and this time, Jungkook didn't look away. It was as if for the first time, they were no longer afraid if the world saw. Because in the end, the most important thing is not who believes or who rejects. Rather, among all the possibilities that existed, they chose to stay together, in their own way, in the most honest silence. Thank you for watching to the end, Taekook Forever lovers. If you also feel that Jungkook and Taehyung really gave an amazing performance, don't forget to support this video by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us know in the comments section which moments of appearance from the Face era give you goosebumps. See you in the next video.